Good morning, Year 4. I hope you've had a lovely half term and welcome to this week's maths. First of all, I'd like you to complete the mental arithmetic questions in front of you and pause the video to do so now. Well done, Year 4. I'm now going to reveal the questions and the answers. I'd like you to tick your answers, please, and if I can explain the strategy to you very quickly, then it says that we're subtracting 3-digit numbers and we're going to be doing some partitioning and some recombining mentally in order to do that. So partitioning, by that I mean if I take the number 539, then I can partition it, which means splitting it up. So I've got 500, I've got 30, and I've got 9. And if I also partition 131, then I've got 100, and I've got 30, and I've got 1. Now, I don't need to write this out as if I'm doing an expanded written method, but this is just showing you what's going on in my head. That effectively, I'm, rather than say counting up from 131 or counting back 100 and then 30 and then 1 from 539, another strategy is very much like our written method to partition a number. In other words, do 9 take away 1, 30 take 30, 500 take 100. And I can do that in my head, store the answers. So obviously 500 take 100 is 400, 30 take away 30 was 0, 9 take away 1 was 8. And then I recombine it, which means put it back together to get my answer. And really important, we're using that inverse operation to check, do my two numbers add up to make 539? And I can see that they do. So if I was doing 684, take away 363, then be taking away 4 from the 3 in my head, which gives me 1, 60 from 80, which gives me 20, and 300 from 600, which gives me 300. So my answer is 321. We're going to have a very quick look then at the Sapphire Challenge, and this is helpful for everyone because it uses some vocabulary that we're all going to be subjected to today, which is multiplication sentences. Now, I know in English we tend to talk about sentences, but this is a multiplication sentence here. It's just not yet complete. Obviously, if I put the 2 5s, or 2 multiplied by 5 is 10, then I've completed my multiplication sentence. So Sapphire Group, you need to colour in the grid by counting in 5s. You need to complete your multiplication sentences. You need to look at the picture and think, what are the multiplication sentences? Well, I've got a group of 5. Okay, I can circle it and see it there. And I've got that 5 times. So if I've got a group of 5 and then I'm multiplying that 5 times, then my multiplication sentence is going to be 5 times 5, and hopefully you can figure out what the answer is to that. There's 2 baskets. Each has 5 apples. How many apples in total? Lots of us have just been able to see that mentally. However, what was the multiplication sentence? Well, the multiplication sentence is that I've got 5 apples, and I'm going to effectively be multiplying that 2 times. However, we know that we can do multiplication in any order, so I could also be thinking of that as this multiplication sentence. I hope that helps you, Sapphire Group, and I'd like you to start your problems now. So for everyone else today, the objective is to be able to multiply by 6. Now, I know there's some of us who struggle with our times tables, even though they've had some fantastic effort on Times Table Rockstars. Equally, there's some of us that will be saying, I know my 6s. But if you know your 6s, then you should be trying the gold challenge today, even if you haven't done so before. And you'll be applying your knowledge of your 6s to solve that gold problem. So let's go through a few things building up towards what would be the gold challenge. So first of all, let's just all make sure that we do know our 6 times table. Now, on today's worksheet, The very first sheet here, it says that this is for bronze, silver and gold. You've got our multiplicand board, which we're all used to using in school. And the first thing I'd like you to do is to pause the video, write 6s all the way across so that you've got 12 lots of 6 written. And then above it, I'd like you to put 1 times 6, 2 times 6, and so on. If you could pause the video to do that now, please. Welcome back again, Year 4. So, similar to how we work at school, we are now going to write out our multiples of 6. So 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6, 18. 4 times 6, 24. 5 times 6, 30. 6 times 6, 36. 7 times 6, 42. 8 times 6, 48. 9 times 6, 54. 10 times 6, 60. 11 times 6, 66. 12 times 6, 72. Now, I know at school we often talk about the idea of this concept of 1, 5, 10 derive, which basically means that 1 times 6 we tend to know. 10 times 6 we tend to find very easy. And lots of us are very confident with our 5 times table as well. And effectively, knowing those tables, should we forget some of our others, we can be using them to help us. For example, if 2 times 6 is just 6 more, isn't it? Okay, so another very easy one. And 4 times 6, if I forget that, I could just do 2 times 6 is 12, double it to get 24. I could look at 10 times 6 is 60. Add 2 times 6, which is 12, which gives me my 12 times 6. So there's different ways of using the tables we know to help us get to those that we can't quite remember. So let's just have a little look at a picture of that. If I wasn't sure about 3 times 6, I can quickly think 2 times 6 is 12, add 6 more, and I've got 18. So we can see here we've got our 12, add our 6 more, it gives us our 18. As I said previously, to find out 4 times 6, I could actually look at 2 times 6 and double it. Okay, double 12 is 24. 5 times 6 we know as 30. And as I've said previously, 6 times 6 is just going to be 6 more, as we can see, 6 more than our array, which is showing 5 times 6. 7 times 6, I could break it down into 5 times 6 and 2 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30, 2 times 6 is 12, 30, add 12 gives me 42 for my 7 times 6. And 8 lots of 6, well, if I wasn't sure, if I know 4 lots of 6 is 24, I could just be doubling that again. Okay, to give me that 8 lots of 6 is 48. So a reminder that if we forget times tables, it's never a case of I don't know the answer. It's a case of what do I already know that can help me? What times table facts can I use to help me with the ones that I'm not so sure about? Obviously, the better you can learn your tables, and if you can keep practicing and practicing, then hopefully all those facts will be nice and secure in your head, which is the most effective way. Now, all of you today are going to be asked to represent your multiplication facts in different ways. So one of the ways is an array. Here I've got 4 lots of 6. And I can see here that I've got 1 lot of 6. And I can see then that's repeated 4 times. If I show that in a bar model, well, I'm counting in 6s. Okay, I'm thinking 4 lots of 6. So 6 and 6 and 6 and 6 gives me my 24. I can show it on a number line. Add 6, add 6, add 6, add 6. And I can see that it gets me to 24. And this is what we call a related division fact. In other words, I take the same three numbers, 24, 6, and 4, and I'm showing that I can write a division fact using those same three numbers. Okay, really important there that I've started with the larger number, which is 24. 24 into groups of 6 is 4. If I count up in sixes to 24, I do it 4 times. Now, something you looked at in the Sapphire Challenge was this, the multiplication sentence. So before bronze and silver start their work, let's just have a quick look at this problem. There are 4 cable cars. Each has 6 people inside. How many people are there in total? Already, people have got there with their answer, which is fantastic. But there'll be more difficult answers than this. However, we need to be really clear about what it is we need to do to solve the problem and what is our multiplication sentence that's needed. So I've already told us that we're going to use multiplication to solve the problem. So 4 cable cars, 6 people inside. Well, mentally for myself, I tend to think of the 6 people in each cable car, and then that's multiplied 4 times. Now, some people might read this then as 6 lots of 4, but we've been talking about multiplying by 6, but we know that we can do this in any order. So I can just switch this around, okay, which allows me then to think of 4 lots of 6. So obviously the answer to that is 24. 2 lots of 6 is 12. There, double it, giving me 4 lots of 6, which is 24. Okay, so when it says write a multiplication sentence, that is what you are going to need to do, please. Bronze and silver, I'd like you to start your challenges now. So gold challenge. I'm assuming everyone who's watching this part of the video knows their 6 times table and therefore are confident to start looking at multiples of 6. In other words, a number that 6 divides into, which is greater than 12 times 6. Now in this example here, I haven't done 6s, we've done 3s. And the reason for that is that if we know our 3s, we can double it to help us work out our 6s. So let's have a look at this question. To mentally calculate 54 divided by 3, Harry partitions 54 into 30 and 24. Why do you think he did it? Well, the reason he did it is it takes a long time to count up in 3s to 54. Actually, what's 12 lots of 3? It's 36. Am I confident with 14 lots of 3, 16 lots of 3? Maybe not so. So I'm going to split 54 up into 2 more achievable numbers that I can work with. So those 2 numbers I've decided to use, or that Harry's decided to use, are 30 and 24. And hopefully you've already made that connection that they both make 54. So we're going to count in 3s up to 54, but instead of counting all the way up to 54, we can count up to 30 and we can count up to 24, and then we can put our 2 answers together. Okay, so dead easy. How many 3s go into 30 is 10, and how many 3s go into 24? Hopefully work that out, and that's 8. Okay, don't please be confused by 6, because it was 4 lots of 6, wasn't it, that made 24. Okay, so in my total then here, 10 and 8 is 18. So if I just extend this line across, 54 divided by 3, the answer was 18. So what I did, or what Harry did, is he took the 54 and he split it up into multiples that he could divide by 3 quickly and efficiently. Okay, so let's have a look at this question below then. Can you suggest a good way to partition 108? And this time we've got to divide by 6. Well, the first thing I would do is put down the multiple of 10. Just as we did up here. 54. Well, 3's into 30 is very simple, is 10, and I'm left with 24. So can you work out, please, if I subtract 60 from this, how much am I left with? How much do I add to 60 to get to 108? Well, I know that I add 40 to get to 100, so it must be 48. And I recognise that as a multiple of 6. So how many 6's go into 60? Very simple, it's 10. And how many 6's go into 48? The answer is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. So this answer is also 18. Okay, 6 goes into 108 18 times. Okay, so those strategies are what I'd like you to use if you're doing the goal challenge today. You won't need them for the first part, but you will need them as you progress through the challenge. And please show you're working. That way your teacher, if there's any mistakes, can see where you went wrong. Okay, if you do it all in your head and just put a wrong answer, it's very hard for us to help you unpick where you went wrong. Another little strategy you could do is you could have actually written out your multiples of 6 if you wasn't feeling quite so secure with them. Okay, I won't write all of them out, but again, hopefully if you've chosen the goal challenge, then you are secure with your multiples of 6. So, lots of challenges here then, guys, to have a go at. There's the bronze and the silver, who hopefully have already started their work, and then the gold. You've got various problems here to have a look at. Read them carefully. Again, you have done these always, sometimes never problems at school before. The key thing today is show you're working, and there's square paper to help you if you need it. So good luck year 4, and we look forward to seeing your work. Thank you very much.